For the rest of the week, we'll be showcasing Black stories and experiences in BC in honor of Black History Month. Frank Robinson was the University of Victoria's first Black professor. He started teaching chemistry at the university in 1963 and went on to have a successful 37-year career, taking many Black students under his wing. He also served as Assistant Dean of Arts and Science at UVic before retiring in 2000. He died in 2006. His daughter, Angela Gatari, joins us now. Thank you for joining us, Angela.
Thanks very much for having me.
So we know race played a big role in your father's career, even when he was hired for his job. Take us through how that unfolded.
Well, when he was hired for his job, he was hired over the telephone. So he was in Edmonton at the time at the University of Alberta and was hired over the telephone. So I think it was a bit of a surprise. People didn't realize that he was Black when he was hired. So I understand that people had let the powers that be at UVic know that they had hired a Black professor, and they didn't realize that because they'd only spoken to him over the phone. So they were a little bit surprised, and I guess probably had to make a little bit of adjustments when he arrived at the campus.
Quite the start for him. What hardships did your father face being the only Black professor on campus for so many years?
Well, when they first came to Victoria, I think their first challenges were finding places to live. They were refused at a number of apartment buildings and things when they were looking for places to live. And I know the place that they finally did end up living was only with the permission. The landlord went through the entire building and asked everybody that was living there if it was okay if they allowed a Black person to live in the building. They also had lots of problems. I guess almost every year, my father would have someone that would think that he was the janitor rather than a teacher. So it would always take a bit of convincing. Even if he showed up in a suit or a lab coat, people would assume that he was the janitor working at the school rather than someone that was actually teaching there.
And just wrapping up here, talk about how he paved the way ultimately for Black students and professors at the school.
Well, I think, being the first, I think for the beginning, it was probably really hard for him, but I know he always made great care to take in sort of every Black student that came to the school, or the next Black professor that came to the school. He always made sure to take everybody under his wing to help them along and show them the ropes and help them feel more comfortable. I know we had numerous students come to our house that, especially students that had come from Africa rather than the States where they weren't used to being a minority. And I know he always reached out to make sure that he supported people when they first arrived in Victoria.
You must be very proud of him.
Yes, definitely.
Thank you so much for joining us and sharing these stories with us, Angela.
Thank you very much.
That's Angela Gatari, whose father, Frank Robinson, was the University of Victoria's first Black professor.